Hey listeners, welcome back to the podcast. You of course are listening to Welcome to Beacon Hills, a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to all things Teen Wolf related. I am Lilith, one of your co-captains, and joining me as always is your other co-captain.
Hey, it's Dawn. Good to be with you today, talking about s5e6 required reading, which is one of those even numbered episodes.
That's the nicest thing she has to say, methinks.
Let's just say that odd numbers, awesome. Even numbers, nightclubs.
Basically, right?
Yes. Nightclubs and filler.
Oh my god, yes, I totally, we'll get there. So let's just jump into the recap and the tech specs. This episode was written by our fearless leader, Jeff Davis, and his longtime collaborator, Ian Stokes. This was directed by Alice Troughton, who I'm very familiar with because I'm a new Who fan. And she also did some Torchwood work in the BBC's Merlin. So very familiar with the style. I was really excited when I found out who was directing it, and it is my favorite thing about the episode.
Oh, well, that's great then. A new Who fan? Meaning you just found Doctor Who?
Oh my god. Matt Smith and David Tennant and all that stuff.
Okay, the more... Got it.
So let's just get into the synopsis. Sheriff Stilinski discovers 8 large holes on the lacrosse field. Oh, what a shame.
Oh, what a bunch of idiots who went from the super secret forest to public high school.
Yep. Suggesting that the drug doctors have created 8 new chimeras, and they totally want the Macaw Pack to find out. Parrish begins teaching Lydia how to fight. Liam attempts to make things up to Hayden, and the group begins reading Alec's book. Boy.
And sleeping.
Yeah. This episode, I'm just gonna say I like it stylistically because it was all style and no substance for me.
Well, we're gonna agree on that.
So where do you want to start with the good stuff?
Absolutely. Let's do that. Here, I will go first. Let's see. What did I really like about this episode? I love that we started with action for 2 times in a row. So that was great. Especially action in which we get Kick Butt Malia. Not so excited that Scott spent most of his time panting for breath and on the floor, but I did like
Malia. Not even in a sex
She's my favorite thing. Yeah, that wouldn't have helped either.
For some people it would have. I'm just saying.
Just meaning, I don't know. Yeah, I just really like Malia in this episode. I thought she was fantastic. She and Mama McCall are my favorite part of the episode. So kudos for starting with action and starting with Kickbutt Malia.
Okay, I can agree with those things for sure. Let's see. I think the first thing that I noticed about this episode is that Styles is asking the right question. So he gets a FTW exclamation point when he asks, why these teenagers? Like, we're finally getting into that whole, hey, let's ask the right questions part of the season.
It is good that they do that. And a couple of other times, some people make some good some good statements, some good points. So, yeah, logic fled this episode early. Like, totally. As soon as the holes came, logic just went to the Bahamas. But, and, quite frankly, I had a better time than me. Oh, my gosh. Just went to the Bahamas, sipping Mai Tais while I was hoping to be with them. So, but, yeah, I do think that it started to make some forward movement on what steampunk scientists were, but very, very, very slowly. Just very slowly. Painfully slow. Speaking of which, I love that Sheriff hates the Dread Doctor's name too and brings it up again as to what a stupid name that is. I really don't understand why Jeff keeps... he named him. Why does he keep bringing up how stupid the name is?
And that's actually an award for me. It's called No Brownie Points for You. Yes, we all hate the name, but you actually went with this. So you bringing it up only makes us scratch our heads even more.
Yes. Absolutely yes.
Let's see. I really actually love the scoring when the pack is having their book club meeting.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the only highlights of the music tonight.
Because we had a rave.
Oh,
And
yeah.
puppy love.
Twice. Twice in one episode. Oh,
Somebody burn down
yeah.
cinema, please, for the love of all things that are good for Beacon Hill.
I'm paying. I'm paying.
Somebody get
Parrish.
Kate.
He can
No,
take.
somebody get Kate. She's a professional arsonist. It's the only good thing she can do at this point.
It's true. Although I'm not so sure the trade-off would be any better.
And then a chimera eats her.
Okay, or she gets trapped in and dies herself. Death by fire. That would be poetic justice. I can go with both of those scenarios, as long as I never have to see the club again.
Oh.
I really liked also Styles' reaction to Sheriff bringing up Psycho. I thought it was dead on. I thought the acting was great. I loved how it was filmed also, so that Styles is kind of off on his own and Sheriff and Malia are, a team.
Isolation thing.
I thought that was a good choice. Yeah. I thought that was a great
Speaking
choice.
of that scene, I absolutely got like a fandom collision kind of vibe. I don't know if anybody else out there watched Revenge over on ABC, but the red Sharpie of death, where she marks her victims off, as Sheriff was doing that with the dead chimeras. I just giggled about it because I love that show. It's just soapy goodness. And then Malia tries to X off Donovan, and Sheriff like grabs her wrist. Like this is where I started to know that she knows about Styles. She's just not saying anything. And Sheriff's like, "I want to see a body first," and Styles is like, "Dang."
See, I never got until the very end that she understood that. I didn't realize that she knew. So, but I thought that was very well done, and I liked how Sheriff was like smart. Because he was like, already knew that he was a chimera, even though there is no real proof on that. So I thought that was brilliant that he didn't just go with everybody else thinking, like everybody else was thinking, that he just skipped town. So kudos there for some good police work. Nicely done.
Definitely.
I will say that one of my absolute favorite things about this episode, and also one of the things that I hated about this episode, are the same scene.
Oh.
And that is Lydia learning.
Yes, we have the same emotion on that.
I love that she's learning self-defense. It's about time. I think it's just a smart play for Teen Wolf as a whole. But all of the freaking Lydia and Parrish ickiness just squicks me
God, no,
out.
there's an award for it. I go, learn to fight good. Fast forward moment. Marriage post-fight flirty time. No, thank you.
No thank you is an understatement. Gross me out. Yeah, that was just bad. But the self-defense and actually finally seeing somebody being trained in something instead of just, oh wow, next scene they already know how to do it. Yay. That was a very good plan. Yeah. I love that.
More clothes. You burn more calories if you sweat more. That's all that I can say.
More clothes, period. On this whole freaking show.
Oh, we'll get to that. Well, actually, I'll just bring this up. It's another scene that I both like and hate. I like where Malia confronts Theo because she's like, "What do you want? You think you're gonna get favors from me?" And so he's like trying to play it coy, and like she like when she's like messing with the equipment after she leaves, we see that she totally made him sore.
I adore that scene. Again, one of the reasons why Malia is my favorite character in this episode. It was just hilarious because he's all like, I'm going to show you my pecs and I'm going to get my sexy on. And she's like, screw you. I want to know what you want.
I like that Malia's the practical one. You know what I mean?
Oh
She's got
yeah.
that real world skepticism.
Yes. I just think that it's a good play because if she had fallen for shirtless Theo, I would have been so annoyed. I mean, really, it's like, so go away. So I just love that she's smart about it. She realizes that he is playing her, and I think that that's just a really good idea for the whole thing. Keep doing that. Keep making Malia smart and keep making her. Actually, I kind of like the fact that they are making her own story, similar to how they always made Lydia her own story. I didn't like it with Lydia,
We're actually getting
but
explanations
mostly
this
because
time, though.
story. Yeah, Malia's story is more interesting, to, to be totally honest, than staring at a wall blankly for a while or plucking twine. And because Malia hasn't been separated for that long. I think that's another part too. But I do like that they're doing that they have not dropped the Desert Wolf kind of thing, and that they made her smart.
Another one of my oddly favorite, I wouldn't even say it's a scene, but it's definitely like probably a moment where like it's after they've read the book and then they go to school the next day and it's like Styles and Kira and Scott and they're all like, hey, be on the lookout for this, be on the lookout for that, be on the lookout for that, and then Styles just turns around and says, starting to see the appeal of the third eye. Getting real stressed out here.
I love that one. That is my favorite quote of the night. I just think it was awesome. It made me laugh. And it was the first real bro moment that we had, even though Kira was there too. And so it just helps that too.
Styles just reminds me of Kramer in all the best ways when he is irritated.
I like that Lydia is very sympathetic to Chimera 492.
I know, I couldn't even remember her name to save my life.
I gave up. I'm like, you don't get a name. You're all a number. That's it.
I called it the Ticketilla because that's what she had, where you pull your body hair out of stress. So I just called it the Ticketilla Chimera.
That's kind of fun to say. For me, she's just a number. She's 492. But I did like that because it helps show how much Lydia has grown over the last 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, whatever seasons. So I really do enjoy that it was a slow burn, and it was too slow of a burn, but Lydia has really, really changed. She's changed more than anyone else in this show. And, the fact that she goes after the Chimera, she pretty much tells her teacher to screw off. And then, she's there, she's sympathetic, she really wants to help. I just love that side of Lydia.
Yeah. I'm glad she's not that shallow, vapid, vain girl that we met. Although she was fun for the time when we first met her. I'm just glad that she turned into something more.
Right. And I think that also she, I really, really love the fact that she doesn't hide her brains. So that is another part of Teen Wolf that I think they did an excellent job of, is not stereotyping the mean girl, because that's what she was.
Let's see. Okay. Hysterical laughter, ironic laughter award. Hayden, God, I hate all ages night. Really, Hayden? Do you?
Man, I hate all nights at this freaking club. And you're not old enough to be there. So.
Which we get the complete full backstory on. Hashtag filler alert.
Yeah. It was like, actually, I'm calling that still need to get our money out of this scene or this setting. Oh,
yeah, basically.
We're having all these conversations in the club that could very easily happen in
a
the high
locker
school.
room, Dawn.
Really?
In the locker room.
Yes, in the locker room. I'm sorry. That setting has been woefully ignored this season.
Oh, well, they'll make it up to us in the next half of this season, sister.
That would be fine if we can get away from this freaking club.
um, what about you? What's next for you?
All right. My favorite moment of the night was just a little thing. And it happens after Lydia has her flashback and Scott, pulls her out of it. I really love that Scott puts his hand over Lydia's shaking one. I thought it was a great scene. It's something that we don't get a lot of time with Scott
Oh my
and
God,
Lydia.
Dawn. We spend too much
But
time together. I literally have this. Why aren't we focusing on Scott and Styles and Lydia as a golden trio? I think more focus on that would improve
yes,
the show, and also as a positive bonus, give Scott a more balanced character trajectory. With Lydia telling him how stupid he is and,
absolutely.
and trying to make him a better person, and then just the interaction between him, Styles, and Lydia. I think that would be something fresh for the show.
That is my number one wish for 5B. Absolutely my number one wish. As a matter of fact, I'm writing an entire article on missing bromance and how we need
I
it back.
cannot wait, and I'm going to share it everywhere that I know Jeff Davis looks.
Good. Yeah, because that is, I'm mostly concerned about Scott and Styles' bromance, but Lydia also needs to be connected to these two. Not in a shipping way, but just the fact that they have been through so much together. Everybody else is new. Even the characters that I like are still new. And all the characters I hate are new, but that's, beside the point. So I just really like that we got that scene and we got to see Scott taking care of Lydia. I think that we need more scenes of those three taking care of each other and taking turns at it. So I just thought that was brilliant. And then, of course, they had to pull back and Theo's there too.
Yes,
and I'm like,
sister,
buddy,
preach.
will you just stop? Why do you have to be in every other scene? I swear by episode 6, he has gotten more screen time than Liam got in season 4. And that was overkill by the third
No
episode.
offense to Dylan Sprayberry, Christian, Cody has been kind of killing it. He's a very good actor, and I wasn't expecting it because the character of Mike on Pretty Little Liars really didn't do much except for sit around, brood, and break stuff. But he has killed it this whole season, and I don't know, man. I like him more than the Dread Doctors. I'll tell you that.
Oh, me too. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of hoping that the Dread Doctors get killed off at the first episode of 5B and that Theo becomes the big bad. I'm thinking it's going to be reversed, so that's going to suck. But as long as he doesn't get redeemed, if he gets redeemed,
yes,
he's worthless.
I agree.
But if he doesn't get redeemed, he is going. I mean, he's the most fascinating villain we've had since Void Styles, mostly because
he's just evil.
He's just creepy. Yeah, he's just evil and creepy, and his story, while making no more sense than any of the other Teen Wolf villains, at least pulls me in and makes me go, man, how evil are you going to be? Can you get to a new evil low?
He's gonna
I
kill
think
a
you
puppy
can.
in 5B. He probably the one that killed Roxy.
All I know is that he is more interesting than any of the other new characters, and yet he still needs to die by the end of 5B.
Yes, I agree. To the max, I agree. But I just want to shout that out. Like, yeah, I don't like the character of Theo, but like I love the character of Theo as a villain. So,
oh yeah,
they struck gold with him. I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, and he's exceeded my expectations. Okay.
Well, he's the best written character right now as well. Because he's so evil. He is the best written character.
What does that say about Jeff?
And I'm good with that. That he should start writing more villains and stop adding new freaking teenagers to Mopey Eye and
Puppy Love.
Take over. And most importantly, take over basically Mason and Liam and Hayden are the replacement characters for Scott, Styles, and Allison. But Scott and Styles haven't left, so we don't need a replacement. What's up with that?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that at the end of the season, I'm sure. I want
Oh.
to talk about my favorite, like, not, it was one of my favorite scenes because it was just like so ho hum and dry. Like, it just boggled my mind. And it just, it's like, okay, they're reading the book and nothing's happening. And then Scott goes, anybody feeling anything? And then, like, Kira goes, sleepy. And Lydia goes, hungry. And I go, yeah, me too. I'm going to the kitchen.
In this episode, I actually created a totally new category of awards for my recap. And it was called The 4 Times Character Spoke For Me. The number one was Scott. Anyone feeling anything yet? Kira, tired. Yep, totally. That's how I'm feeling. The Caden one is my second one. Also, I hate all ages now. It's like, oh, I hate everybody who's at that club. I don't care who they are. I hate them all. Styles comes into that club. I hate him in there too. So, oh.
Uh,
All right. I think that I only have like 2 more positive things to
good, because
say.
I've been
So,
itching to get to the bed.
okay, good. Well, I've been talking about the bad as we go through. Um, I love that we ended with action as well. I really like Theo killing Current Chewer because that was awesome. It was just fantastic. Um, and I also like that he told Styles he knew about Psycho because that jumpstarted us into an episode that I actually care about instead of this filler episode. um, and I also think that it just is a good plan for Teen Wolf to start and end on action because, you know, there's some pacing issues in this episode. What am I talking about? There's lots of pacing issues in this this one. But I do think that at least that puts me in a good mood going in, and it leaves me on a high note going out. And it was Theo and Styles, and they have some fantastic scenes together.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about this, stylistically wise, are the 3 quote unquote repressed memory vignettes, I'm gonna call them, with Scott, Lydia, and Styles. I love how all 3 of them are very different. And they're all on a different emotion, like on the emotional spectrum at a different place.
That was my last one also, is the flashbacks. I like and don't like them.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but they're
Um,
shot beautifully, and they give us some interesting character history. 2 out of
they
3
do.
anyway. They're done without
Characteristic
Scott.
that,
But Mama McCall.
well, yeah, she was awesome. She was awesome in the past too, so she wasn't just instant awesome. She was just awesome all around. You screwed up, douche dad, just saying. So anyway, yeah, I have problems with them because Lydia's one violates canon. Scott's one continues for the rest of the season for no reason whatsoever. And Styles one made me absolutely ticked off at Jeff.
Monster!
I have problems with them. Yeah, I have problems with the flashbacks, but I like the pacing of the flash. I like where they were placed. I like that we did get some background on them. Um, and mostly I like that if you're going to put filler in, and that's what they were, let's just totally be honest. If you're going to put filler in, at least they pick the right characters to put filler in this time.
Okay. Let's move over to the lowlights, I guess.
Stuff that really sucked.
Lowlights is the politically correct term that we're going to be going with.
Okay.
Would you like to start?
Oh, I would love to start. I would love to start. Okay. This is me being snarky. Like Styles, 2 episodes before this, Kira wisely decides to sleep through the entire episode. The rest, except for Theo, soon follow. Once again, Jeff Davis is the gift that keeps on giving. If I have to be subjected to these snoozeworthy episodes, at least I get the sleeping screen caps to describe them.
Okay.
Oh, this was boring.
Okay. As much as I love the character of Mama Martin. I've always kind of questioned how great a mother she is, and in no bigger case is it in this episode. We learn in the flashback that she left a very small Lydia alone in the car in the parking lot of an insane asylum. What?
And then, the other question I have is, so where was her douche dad? It's his mom.
Right?
Where is he?
That's what I was thinking too. Like, why are you here? I mean, not that it's not good to see you, Susan.
Yes, great. Oh my goodness. There is so much wrong with that whole thing. Were they trying to tell us that Lydia's grandma died from a hole in the head that she delivered herself?
No,
Because
no,
that's
no, no, no,
totally
no.
not what
Because
orderly
because
said.
what we know is that the orderly douche killed her, right? So I was just assuming they showed us how he
Right.
killed her and made it try to look like suicide because that was his thing, right?
Except that in the other episode, he said that he hung her.
Well, whoop, there you go.
Yeah. So I'm like, are you crazy? First off, nobody could kill themselves by putting a hole in their brain like that and then flinging the drill across the room. So that makes zero
Well, it is
sense.
Beacon Hill and Beacon Hill
anyone,
PHPD, BHPD.
all I'm saying is that anyone who has ever watched any crime show at all would instantly go, this isn't suicide. My biggest problem was, this isn't canon. What the heck? I mean, Parrish specifically said that all of them died from hanging.
Are we gonna trust Parrish now, though?
I'm gonna trust Parrish because that's canon. And now they're like, oh no, she died from a hole in her head. And
that might just be a vision too, though,
heck?
mixed in with kernels of the truth or something. Like she did show up there, but it was a hanging body. But the trepanation is like the key to a memory, maybe, of unlocking something else about the Dread Doctors, and it might come into play in 5B.
And if it comes into play in 5B, I would be very happy to say, oh, this did make sense. Very good.
And the only reason, let me say, the only reason why I trust it is because trepanation was a thing at the beginning of season 5A.
Right. And I think that is the reason why they're doing it. But for me, it meant something totally different later on because it seems to be implying that there is something between Lydia's grandmother and Triclops and the steampunk scientists.
Oh, I hope not.
And that's where I think it's going. Now, it might not. Most likely, we will never refer to this vision ever again, and it will just be canon busting and bad writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. I'm just going to say, because I'm on my what's wrong with Jeff kick. Okay, Jeff. I get that 3B was a huge success for you. Most successful you've had as a season in the entire series. But that does not translate into Styles can never be happy ever again. What the heck was that vision?
But they've left us clues about that too, though.
Yeah, they're talking about how we're going to get Styles and his mom. Can we not have any happy memory ever for Styles? Does his entire life have to suck every single moment of every day? What the heck? Please stop. Please stop now. I was so mad at that memory. I was like, I would rather have just not seen that. What the heck?
I know. I remember when we said we were finally going to meet Claudia, and I'm like, yes! And then I was like, oh. And I also remember that I remember reading the castings for a young Scott and a young Styles. I'm like, ooh, are we going to get when they met? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Why did they need to cast young Styles? Because we never saw young Styles. All we saw was a shadow.
I know. But maybe that's for something else, though.
Maybe. But all I know is that scene left. There were a few scenes in season 5 that made me mad, ticked me off, broke my heart. This is one of them.
I totally could see that. Okay. Next up, Mama Martin knows something, and dang it, she needs to spill it like now. This episode is the first start. Well,
Yeah.
not even this episode. There's been some other suspicious stuff. First, it was the black glue and feathers where she's trying to pretend like that's all normal. And then it's this episode, and then it's another episode, and then like she pretends like she didn't understand what happened with Tracy. And I was like, I don't know. Mama Martin knows something. She needs to spill it. No more.
Well, yeah, and Lydia even snarks about her mom denying the supernatural. So I think that was supposed to be on our radar here, and it was like, okay, let's come up with the answers because this is 6, and this part of the season ends at 10.
Yep.
And we've got a lot of filler everywhere. Yeah, it was. I don't know.
I don't like this.
Secrets.
Yes.
I'm beginning to miss money woes.
You take that back. Because I swear.
Oh, I don't want to ever see them again.
I'm watching another show right now, and I won't say what it is, but that show is having money woes, and I swear it felt like they were watching Teen Wolf before they wrote that season. Money woes has spread to other TV shows on other networks. I don't like it.
Great. It's like Kira's disease. Great. Another thing that I hated about this episode. Lydia and Styles head to the hospital for reasons. Seriously. Really? Just go away. And then Lydia tells Styles to leave her alone in the dark, creepy basement, and Styles does.
After we just had that conversation about not leaving each other.
Yes, exactly. I'm thinking, how many ways could this go wrong? You just tell me. Come on, people. Oh my goodness. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
how
really?
many bad things have happened at that hospital?
No kidding. And all I kept thinking was, great. Now they're both alone in the creepy hospital, and there's a power outage. Bring on the Winchesters and kill everybody. Just kill them all. I don't care anymore. They all got to go. Beacon Hills needs to be swallowed up in a sinkhole.
Okay, this is just a statement, and feel free to nod your heads yes or no in agreement or disagreement. Dear Jeff Davis, I am never, ever going to care about Hayden as a character, and I am even more annoyed with the pairing of Liam and Hayden and the stupid ship name of Layden. And every time they do anything together, it is 100% filler from this whole time, for the last 6 episodes. Your goodwill that you generated is gone.
I'll just add in there, and thank you, Jeff, for making the return of lacrosse all about Liam and Hayden. Just thank you, because I didn't get enough lacrosse in season 4 for the rest of my entire life.
I got it for my life. I don't even want to see a high school lacrosse game if my godchildren are in it.
I want to forget that lacrosse ever happened. So I will nod yes with a caveat. I will be interested in Hayden. I will love that character. I will embrace that character with everything I have, as long as you kill off Liam.
Never gonna happen.
So, if you get rid of Liam, I will care about Hayden. I will make myself care about Hayden. That might be a better way of putting it. But I don't care about these two together. I don't care about their reinterpreting
Allison
the
2.0.
Scott and Allison scenes from before. I don't care about their money woes. I don't care about their jobs. I don't care about anything about them. And every time they're on, I feel like I'm watching Once Upon a Time. And that sticky, trickly sappiness that just
if you take
overflows.
out all their scenes, with the exception of when Liam brings Scott his inhaler, the episode doesn't change because Lydia still hears that it's Hayden on the medical equipment. It beats Hayden, and they actually made sure that we could hear that.
Yeah. Wasn't even in bug language. Yeah, I agree. We don't need any of the scenes with Liam and Hayden. We don't actually need Liam or Hayden, period, or Mason in the show. So every time they're on, I just really, really hate it. So I'm going to go on to the Mason problem of this
Oh,
episode. Yeah. I don't
Exposition
care how much people like
Factory.
Mason. Yeah, Mason plays Styles 2.0 because, we still have Styles, and then proceeds to tell Kira what she is. It's not like she doesn't have a mother who's been what she is for 900 years now? Come on. How is it that Kira doesn't know what she is now? Does she not talk to her mother? Please stop. Just stop. All of it. Just go away. Take Mason and his Google with him. Take Theo and his Google Translate. Because, oh my goodness, has anybody ever been more proud of themselves for being able to translate something? Come on.
It's
Seriously,
Bing.
people?
You know it's not
Just,
Google. It's Bing.
all I know is that Mason needs to stop being the exposition man because he makes no sense in this one. Kira should be telling Mason. If they need to have exposition, then just have Kira tell Mason. Because at least then I would think that she knew something about her own heritage. Her mother is right there. She's not even, MIA Tate. She's not douche dad Lydia version. She's actually there with Kira. So, what the heck is this? She doesn't know anything about her heritage. I want to reach in and smack them all.
Yeah. On another note, why is Brett never at his own school?
Yes. Yes. I made a point of that in my recap too. I think he transferred to Beacon Hills. If we see him in a Beacon Hills lacrosse uniform, we will know that he is officially part of this, and we won't know why. It will be for
No, because
reasons,
they specifically asked him to be on the lookout at his school for weird stuff. So
yeah, I know, but he's never there.
I know, so how could he know?
I want to know. I want to know how many classes he's skipping to be in the show. It's not even just Beacon Hills now that never go to school.
It's the prep school.
Douche prep 2. I don't know what it is.
Ugh. Yeah, that was my other little thing.
Okay. Well, let's continue on with Tall Prep Blonde's scene and talk about how that is the lamest grudge I've ever heard of. Really? Not only that, but how creepy is it that Mason has their 6th grade pictures on his phone?
Well, it was the yearbook.
I mean, come on.
To be fair.
So he has his 6th grade yearbook on his phone when he's in 9th grade?
Good times, man.
That's still creepy. Yeah, good times. Okay. I don't care. That's creepy. It's stupid. And it's the lamest grudge ever. I am still available as educational consultant because I am here to tell you that there is such a thing as picture retake day. Take the freaking picture again. What's wrong with you? Ugh.
Oh, that was a bad scene all around. Oh, okay. Is it just me, or am I the only one that thinks you just can't use anyone's inhaler?
Well, more importantly, you have to uncap the inhaler before it will work for you. He never takes the cap off. So that makes me laugh more than anything else in this episode because I'm like, okay, Scott, take a hit where all the medicine just went inside the cap. Yay, you.
Maybe that's why he keeps having asthma attacks.
You got to be smarter than the inhaler, buddy. You just do. So he never takes it off, and then he's instantly better. And you can use other people's inhalers. It's kind of like an EpiPen. It's not really a good plan, but you can use other people's. My question is, did Liam suddenly become psychic? Because he hears someone needs an inhaler. And he automatically thinks Scott, even though Scott has not needed his inhaler ever since Liam has been
I
on
thought
this
they
show.
were implying that the bond between them as pack members, since he is his only like bitten beta or whatever, was like growing stronger. It's also when his eyes glowed and he yelled at Scott. Scott finally got like through his head or whatever. It's stupid, but I see it.
Oh, I remember that. He's the savior again. Super special snowflake, Derek approved version. Oh, I hate that scene
Yeah.
as well. I'm tired of Liam saving people. I'm
Just
just
don't fall
tired
in
of
a
Liam.
hole and stay there, Liam, is what Dawn is saying.
Yes, exactly. There are plenty of holes for you to fall in.
Right
Please
on that
take
lacrosse
one.
field.
Speaking of which, my biggest issue besides filler, all the freaking filler, and all the freaking nightclub stuff with its hideous loud music along with it, is all the logic problems. There are logic problems all over this episode, starting with the freaking holes in the lacrosse field. First off, the bus parks there. So, did the bus driver not see the sudden human gopher holes that came up? Is that what we're saying? Because if there were suddenly holes in a field by where I was parking, I would inform the administration because that just makes sense. So, we've got that problem. Second off, Canon clearly says that these kids have to be in the hole for several days. Are you really telling me that many parents did not realize their kids were missing? I realize it's Beacon Hills, but
Maybe
come on.
these are
Really?
runaways. Maybe we're dealing with something even more sinister than we thought.
Well, then how did Hayden go missing for a couple days
Because her
without her
sister
sister
is a
knowing?
Beacon Hills Police Department member, and they work like 6, 7 shifts at a time because there's only like 7 of them.
That is true. They're the Mama McCall of the police force.
That's
So, okay,
understandable. The
I'll give you
Tracy
that.
thing isn't, but her dad actually cared about
And
her.
then, yes, exactly, as we could see. And then, what kind of master villain, or villain mastermind says, oh, we've been hiding these kids in holes in the woods and no one's really finding them except for that moron who fell in and then realized that it wasn't his hole because, he has some affinity to the first hole, I guess. I don't know. So, what mastermind says, oh, nobody has recognized this for years. Let's just go put it in a public place because, hey, that won't cause any concentration from anyone whatsoever. Let's
Or
just
maybe it
go
was
for it.
Theo's idea to really put, but they never really even mention it, other than like Scott doesn't mention it. Like Styles obviously knows because his dad told him, and they're discussing it or whatever. But like Scott and the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
pack don't actually bring that up ever again.
And where are these missing chimeras? Because I was assuming that all these chimeras we had were popping up out of the freaking woods like daisies. So,
Yeah, he didn't think it through.
none of it makes
You
sense.
know, it's Jeff Davis. Sometimes he has a rough go of it. He gets so excited and wants to push his vision forward. He gets excited. I'm not making excuses because I'm really tired of the lazy in opening the episode in Ms. Ray or whatever. So like in the middle of the action or whatever. Like just can we find something else?
Mm-hmm.
Like spice it up. Like I love the action, but we could have had even more action instead of a repeat of the same action. That's all.
Oh, so like where I put recapitations on my things that I really hate about this episode.
I was wondering when we were gonna get to
And I
that.
like that scene. Oh, it is. I'm still on the faulty logic, along with Theo blaming the book faulty logic. Hello? First off, we all know Theo's
He's not
plagiarism, but
even reading
everybody
it, and
seems to think,
nobody noticed. He's flipping the pages way too quick.
no kidding. And his eyes are never on the book. So he's just kind of looking at everybody else. How can I screw with them now? But no, what I don't like is that we're supposed to assume that reading the book has caused all of these problems for all these characters. But it makes zero sense. Because Kira's already affected before she reads the book. So it's not about the book. It was about the steampunk scientist screwing with her. And Malia was already getting visions about the car crash before she read the book. So the whole idea that the book caused Malia to have visions makes zero sense
But again,
whatsoever.
everybody's
I
keeping
mean, we already
secrets,
saw
and
it.
so nobody can put the full puzzle together, including
And that
Jeff.
brings up another issue.
Including Jeff.
Yes, including Jeff. Welcome to Chris Carter world. You don't have to have any answers. You just have to keep telling us that it's out there.
Cries violently.
You have anything else? Because I have
Okay,
several.
just a little tiny thing. It's so nitpicky, but can Malia get some shorts that are actually longer than her shirts, please?
I don't know. We couldn't get, Lydia to get any skirts that covered her butt cheeks, so I'm not sure we can get anything longer for Malia. I believe that the factory of clothes that actually fit you shut down in the Money Woes issue. Now they only have baby doll clothes, and so everybody has to wear those. If they wear anything at all, because, we have to be shirtless half the time.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Let it rip, sister.
Which leads me to shirtless Theo. Oh, seriously, Teen Wolf, I understand you want to have some eye candy, but do we really need to go that far in eye candy? I mean, seriously, let's do some reps. Let's show those pecs. And most importantly, let's long pan on it so that we can sit there looking at naked Theo, halfway naked Theo, for a very, very, very
Yeah, we don't
long
get
time.
full naked Theo to
Whenever
the end
you
of the
do this,
season.
well, we did get full naked, yeah. Luckily, we weren't looking at it because I'm not in any kind of porn thing. But seriously, all that does is make me feel super squicky. He's a kid. He's supposed to be, 16,
He's 20 in real
17-ish.
life.
I'm sorry. I don't care what he is in real life. His character is a teenager in a high school. If you long pan over his naked torso, it makes me uncomfortable. He's a kid. Knock it off. Then I don't care about Deputy Redshirt and Hayden's pills. I'm sorry. I don't. What the heck was that about? It was like, there's filler, and then there's, where did this scene even come from?
Well,
Filler.
no,
That's
because
what
that
that
leads
was.
into how they figure out the chimeras or whatever. But in this particular episode,
No, it doesn't, because Sheriff and Mama McCall figure that out. I mean, that's their whole scene. They figure it out. So all it seemed like to me was an opportunity for us to listen to somebody who's way too old telling people how hot Liam is. Ugh. Again, work on the appropriate relationships, please. Ugh. This is crazy. Which leads me to Lydia and Parrish ickiness that I talk about every single time. It's still squicky. It still needs to be done. And quite frankly, if you push this anymore, I'm going to be calling Parrish a pedophile. So knock it off. I don't care about Parrish like everybody else does, but I will actively dislike him and wish for his death if you keep pushing this. Then we've got all the Pretty Little Liars. That is a different show. I don't want to see that on my show. If I wanted to see Pretty Little Liars, I'd watch Pretty Little Liars.
it is turning into Pretty Little Liars with all the inappropriate age relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yes. People who are already in a career getting into a sexual relationship with high school students, please go away. I don't want to see that ever, and nobody should see that ever. And people who justify that just creep me out even more. That is not justifiable. Just stop. All right? We are turning into Pretty Little Liars, and I don't need Pretty Little Liars, and I don't need secrets, and I don't need money woes, but I really, 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 really need my bromance and my pack back. Because all these things are breaking up my pack, and I can't have that, because that's the reason I watch Teen Wolf. Mm-hmm. Then we've got Scott confiding in Theo about his girlfriend. Hello?
That thing was not on. It was
Hello?
not working.
I don't think so. First off, if I was a guy, and some guy told me that he was recording my girlfriend in her sleep, I would have some real issues with the stalking tendencies there, and it would creep me the heck out. It just would. So when Scott hears that Theo is watching Kira in her sleep, he suddenly decides this is a good time to say, "Oh, I don't really trust my girlfriend," to the guy he hasn't seen in years.
Like, this should have been a total styles thing, if anything. And that's what ticks me off the
Yes.
most, honestly. Other than the fact
Oh,
that
yeah.
Scott should have been honest with Kira, or at the very least, Kira's freaking mom! Ugh!
Yeah. First off, that was a lie that was like the dumbest lie that we've heard, because the other lies at least have some reason that you would not tell someone. Why would you not tell your girlfriend when she asked you that she is suddenly a flaming fox? That is like a health issue. It's a supernatural health issue that perhaps the person who's been a fox for centuries could help with. I just don't understand. I will never understand why we don't know more about kitsunes and why Kira doesn't know about it, because, again, her mother is still alive and in the
And
same
even her
house.
dad would probably know a little bit, and he is in the school with her!
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, her dad researched her and, World War II, and that's how he met her mom. So he obviously knows some stuff too. I don't understand why Mason is suddenly the kitsune expert. Seriously? In what reality does that make sense?
Dude, it's because
Can
universe.
we not talk to her mom? It drives me insane. And then comes the moment that I just couldn't even anymore. I just couldn't. Okay. Dear Miss AP Biology teacher, AP Biology, the student in front of you is having an asthma attack. And so your solution is to yell out, "Hey, anybody got an inhaler? Can you not pick up the phone and call the nurse?"
911 or something?
Really? The nurse is your number one person. Every teacher has the nurse on speed dial.
Wait.
So,
We are dealing with Money Woes, Beacon Hills, though.
what the
Do they
heck?
have a nurse?
Well, they have to by law. So, yeah. Could be that they only have one nurse for the suddenly 900 seniors they have at Beacon Hills, according to that senior scribe night. I don't even get that still, too. But hello. And even if so, if you're going to yell down the hall, wouldn't you yell, "Somebody get the nurse"? I mean, come on. What the heck? This doesn't even make any sense whatsoever. Even I know what to do. I knew what to do when I was a high school student. I realized that the people of Beacon Hills have absolutely zero emergency training at all. But you're the biology teacher. You had to take things that had to do with human biology in order to be a teacher. Seriously? Come on,
That
chick.
means she's a
That
drug
makes no
doctor.
sense whatsoever. It wouldn't surprise me. And second off, so the entire school runs around asking people if they have an inhaler? How is this a good plan? How in the world is this a good plan? And then Scott doesn't give the inhaler back to the person who
That's the
owns
thing
it.
that bothered me the most. Like, really? Rude and dangerous?
So now somebody else is having an asthma attack, and they're just screwed. Because obviously nobody can call the nurse. Ugh. That biology teacher will be fired. It's just that simple. Because you have to call the nurse. So, that was, the
Yeah.
episode.
Let's move on to the review. We'll start with Do you have any? I just want to bring up one discussion point before we go to the grade, and it was the lesson of the week was invasive species. Once they're there, they're there forever. And I was like, please God, don't make it so.
Oh, I'm not dealing with, another year of steampunk scientists. Nope. No way. You're done. I think that what that meant was that we're never getting rid of these freaking chimeras.
Which
That they are going to, unlike the teen assassins who were annoying in all their blondness, they at least went away. These guys, they just won't leave. Just go.
Oh God, take it back. Um, let's move on to the grade, I guess.
All right. I gave this episode a D
Wow.
plus, and the plus was generous.
Dawn's turning into Lilith all of a sudden.
D plus, and here is why. And so ends 41 minutes with the same scene repeated twice. That feels like 41 hours. Again, what is up with these even-numbered episodes? I promise I would much rather have preferred to have 10 good solid episodes than one good episode followed by one that's mostly filler in a never-ending pattern. It's like Teen Wolf doesn't know if it wants to be season 1 or season 3 anymore, and the script is all over the map. The opening's good, but way bizarrely placed, and then it's all about watching people read and fall asleep. Really? Really? I don't want to watch people fall asleep because it makes me fall asleep. And quite frankly, lucky them, because they got to sleep. The middle contains 14 or so subplots for no reason at all. Do these actors have contracts mandating that they be thrown in every other episode? Because that's what it feels like. I'm starting to get the not them again syndrome. While the flashbacks added some character insight to the main trio, the rest was utterly forgettable and not necessary. The pacing could best be described as needing Adderall to control its ADD and ephedra to give it some energy. Since I have no more energy to review this episode, that's a bad sign. Oh my goodness.
Yikes.
It was just bad.
I'm going to go with a C as in cat minus. I feel like this is a very quintessentially average episode of Teen Wolf. It has all the things that are right with Teen Wolf and way more things of all the hallmark trade signs, whatever you want to call it, of what's always wrong with a Teen Wolf episode. It's just par for the course at this point. When you watch Teen Wolf so much and when you start realizing certain things are just never going to change, it's like, there it is. What you gonna do, Jeff?
Slow-mo. At least it's the bingo square.
Basically. So who was your who or what was your MVP of this episode?
I think the MVP of the episode is action, because that really was the best thing about this episode. I like how it bookended, even if I don't like that the bookends were the exact same scene.
Okay. For me, like I said, it was the stylistic nature of this episode. I thought that, as a director, you get the script that you get and you make the most of it. And I found it very visually stimulating, even when they were sleeping and just sitting around. It was interesting compositions. The lighting was really good. So, yeah. I like the style of this episode, not the substance.
Nice.
Best character?
Malia.
Hands down. But I'm gonna give a runner up to Styles, to just being so grouchy and irritated, and just every time he's with somebody, he brings out the best in that character, and I just love Dylan for that so much.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although I think that the scenes that he had, I thought were good, but there were a lot of scenes that he was in where he really didn't even need to be there. It was like, okay,
making
whatever.
Up for the time, all that time he didn't show up on the screen in season 4.
Possibly.
Like, okay, I'm back. Let's get this in before I gotta do Scorch Trials adverts.
Gotta do that worldwide
Definitely.
tour.
Best character interactions.
Malia and Theo. It was just
I'm
fun.
gonna go with Malia and Styles because she catches him in a lie, but she doesn't call him on it.
Yeah, I kind of had a problem with that. I kind of liked it, and I kind of had a problem about that because I liked that she realized there was a problem when, I don't know, say his best friend didn't. But I really wish she would have just pushed on it.
See, Malia doesn't have a problem with killing though,
It would
really,
have helped me up.
and especially like if he's hiding it for a reason. Like I don't know, like they haven't really had any good like couple time. Like last season was like one of the only good things about season 4 was the Malia and Styles stuff, and now they're kind of even driving the wedge between that, and
Right.
that's unfortunate.
Oh, I agree. And I will say that I did like that they actually had a scene where they were on screen together that was more than 3 seconds, and that didn't involve other people being on screen as well until, of course,
He's
it was
dropping the little
Theo.
nosy Nelly. Ugh.
The never-ending presence. It's just so completely, I don't know.
Best scene.
Best scene, Malia saves Scott from the steampunk scientist, and then Mama McCall helps save him too.
I think the best scene for me is probably gonna be. That's a tough one. Yeah. I'm just gonna go with the vignette. I know it's hurtful and it's painful, but I like that they followed up on the hints that they've been given for Styles and his mom's illness and stuff. I thought that it was really well shot. How it was actually a very visually contrasting from Lydia and Scott's. Like this one was really dark and shadowy and just heavy on the emotion, and they really played up every element in that particular scene.
It was definitely heavy on the emotion. Not sure the emotion is the one they
Anger,
wanted,
fury, people cursing Jeff in the distance.
Overwhelming anger. Like Hulk level anger.
Best line?
Yeah. Best line was Scott. We keep an eye on each other today, okay? Styles. Yes, and keep an eye out for the 8 other potentially homicidal Chimeras. Kira. And keep an eye out for the dead doctor. Styles. I'm starting to see the appeal of a third eye. Although, in all honesty, my number 2 also gets there, which was Lydia. My mom's book club usually has more wine. Styles. Well, they also probably didn't read books that cause violent hallucinations.
That was my first favorite one, actually. But then the other one is, that's okay, because Styles.
Sorry.
Because I felt like that was meta. He's like, I'm not supposed to know the answer to that, am I? when they're in a group of Parker, and when they're parking to go into the hospital, and Lydia's like just expounding all these things off of him.
Totally love that one. That's on my list too. Another one that's in my list, and actually it's in my 4 times character spoke for me, is Hayden. I've got to be honest, Liam. If you're trying to be a good guy,
oh my God,
I really don't
same.
care. She said that, and I was like clapping. I'm like, yes, speak for me, please speak for me.
Favorite moment.
It was Scott putting his hand over Lydia's trembling hands.
For me, it's flashback Mama McCall. I don't know, it's just something really like refreshing about that scene, like her and little Scott. It seems like it's always been them. Like it seems like Dad should have been around at that time, but it seems like it's always been them against the world.
Yes,
she just had this really like. Let's just be real. Melissa Ponzio kills it with the emotion. She's just so worried, and it was just like just drew me right into that scene, even though not much really happened and it was all jumbled.
Oh, I agree. She actually gets a different award for me based on that scene. So.
Oh well, we're at the miscellaneous episode awards, so.
Okay, the Fountain of Youth Award goes to Mama McCall. who I swear looks exactly as young as she did back then. I was looking at her, I was like, oh, you just don't age. You're awesome. But also, it's not just how she looks, it's her attitude and her, fearlessness. And she's the exact same character in that flashback that she is now. And I love the consistency. I love how she is always, always the person who's going to take care of everyone. She's just fantastic.
See. Biggest fib we've all told at one point. Kira, I'm just resting my eyes. 2 seconds later.
Or I'm fine. That one would work too.
That is a quintessential superhero trope. It's just my heart being ripped out of my chest. I'm fine.
No big deal. I'm on my last breath, and I'm, going to die in my own blood, but yeah, it's all good. Biggest side eye to Jeff Davis for his fascination with underage, half-naked clubbing.
Shots are fired. Oh God. Best hashtag award. Hashtag Beacon Hills Book Club. Runner up is Theo Thirst Trap, because that's exactly what that was. Shout out to my Instagram peeps.
You might as well have just said old people lusting young. That's what it should have been, because that's what the whole thing was about. All right, so going along with the book club theme, the Hey, I'm a librarian, but still award. While I am always glad to promote reading, I would much rather read a book myself than to watch other people read a book.
Wait. Okay, so the I don't know, man award. This is more of a burning question. It's just something that's really bugging me about them still supposedly getting the effects of reading the book from a photocopy of the book instead of an actual tangible material like real book. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do, but my biggest problem is the 6 billion copyright
Don't
laws.
try this at home, kids.
No, let's not do that. Yeah, it is a little strange. I don't know. All right, least impressive achievement. Yay, Theo, you did! You found an app to translate Japanese. Go you! That boy is way too excited about being able to translate. That is not a skill that people should be, bragging about these days, unless you're an actual translator who can translate better than Google Translate.
We're talking about a world where we can now quote tweets in an academic paper. Just saying.
Yeah. So it's not an accomplishment.
Okay, I have one more burning question. Little baby Scott's incident with Roxy, is this what made him want to become a vet?
Could very well be, and that's a good point. And I like that idea. If that's going to be the continuation that we're going to get from there, if there's some continuity that makes sense for why we saw it, then I'm going to go with it. But from here on out, all those leash pictures just make no sense. Yeah. Oh, there's Scott with the leash again. Oh, Scott has another leash. I'm starting to wonder about
it was
Scott.
Styles, after all, that brought the leash in the dog bowl. I'm just saying.
I just watched that episode and laughed. Oh. Gotta love it. Least interesting competition. Liam and Hayden aggressive flirt to obnoxiously loud music. There's nothing about that scene that was at all good.
I agree.
Nothing.
I can't agree hard enough about that. Is that all?
No, I have one more that might tick off our viewing audience, our listening audience. But I think it needs to be said. Worst fan argument. Since Parrish is maybe 6 to 8 years older than Lydia, their flirting is not in every way squicky. A 16-year-old is only 6 years older than a 10-year-old, but that doesn't make that okay. So please stop telling me that she's 18 makes this any difference whatsoever in the complete
It
squickiness of
is
this
a
relationship.
position of authority on top of that because he is a police officer, which brings it to extra squicky
Yes.
levels. I totally agree.
Yeah. And he is in a totally different situation than she is. She is in high school. He is post-college career level. If you're talking about a 30-year-old and a 38-year-old, they are still in the same life age. There is a complete skipping of a major turning point in people's life that he is older than. That would be like a high school student dating an elementary school student. There is an entire different gap in there. And if you don't realize that, you probably haven't been through that stage.
Yeah,
It's just that
I
simple.
really hate that.
It's not okay.
I wish Jeff would have kind of realized that because he is really going full throttle with the quote unquote marriage pairing, it seems like.
And he keeps pointing out that she's now 18 as if that is a big deal. It's not the number, although the number can be important. It's the experience level that they are at. And that it's just not okay. It's not okay for an adult male to be going with a high school teenager. Period.
Yeah, he needs to stop watching Pretty Little Liars. I
I
don't
dropped
blame
that
you.
show at that point
It's
in the
the
first
one
episode.
sticking point of that show, and I was just like, every chance they get to break them up, they don't. And I'm just like, damn you, Marlene! Damn you! Anyway, what about some good Twitter shout outs, maybe?
All right. I will tell you that I just put them on here, so I don't know
That's
which ones
okay.
I'm going to highlight. So I'm going to maybe take some extra long breaks in here as I'm reading the choices that I have. Best in Twitter this week, and I'm just going to go alphabetical. First off to Amber King, who is at blank_landing. Kira's whole life will be trying to not get blamed for power outages. I thought that was funny. Bobby, who is at Summons Cooking, SUMFINSCOOKIN, said, in quotes, and we don't even know what the game is. At least someone said it. We're in episode 6. We should know what the game is, period. So, yeah, don't know. Claymores Are Us, which is at Clone Poster, said, Liam is on his own show, apparently. That could not be more accurate, and it's a show I don't care about. Period. I was complaining about the wrong canon with Lydia's grandma. And Mary Marino, one of my favorite people to tweet with, she's at Marino, MERINO Media. And she retweeted, or she answered me saying, canon has no meaning here. It's sad, but it is true. Very, very, very true. Then we've got Teen Wolf Talk, at Teen Wolf Talk. And she said, besides the Brett never attending his own classes, said, Scott can't trust Kira anymore, but he's perfectly okay trusting the psychopath Dr. Snitch, hammer-wielding Theo. I have problems with that too. At Tiffany Richard had the one that made me laugh the most, and that's at TIFFEREZZ2211. So really easy there. She said, I'd lose my hair too if I was going to that high school. Yeah. Or just move. Go somewhere. And at Tony Interrupted, TONIINTERRUPTED, is saying what I've been saying for years. Sooner or later, people will know just how brilliant Styles is. He's asking the right questions. Maybe you should listen to him. I don't know. Hashtag trust Styles, maybe? Those were my favorite tweets of the week.
On Reddit there is an actual thread about this episode, and it's basically only like people are like wondering about the book and arguing about the book, and it's just actually starting to pick up steam. So if you want to go to reddit.com/r/Teen Wolf and look for spoilers reading the book thread, come and comment.
Very cool.
Just like I said, I'm out on Tumblr. Like I feel too old for Tumblr, and their updates are garbage. All the Tumblr users are shaking their head like, "Tell it, sister." So that brings us to the end of this podcast. So, of course, shameless plugs and self promotion.
All right. First off, I am very proud to be part of a new podcast for the CW series, The 100. It's called Red Shirted, and Kristen and I are doing that podcast. It is up now, so you can catch our first 2 episodes. And it's just a lot of fun because it's a show that we both really enjoy. And so it's nice to be able to talk about shows that are doing almost everything right. So that's a pretty positive one. We're excited about it. So please like us on Facebook, check us out on iTunes, subscribe, leave us some feedback, and just let us know how you think we're doing, what things we can change, what we can improve. So love that. Also, in about 3 weeks, my column returns. It's called Last Week in TV, where I review and give episode rewards to about 12 to 15 shows this week, including a show that is nominated by one of the people who read the article. So if you've got a show that you think that I'd really like, or a show that you just want me to try, you can fill out the nomination form on that column, and it will be placed in the things that I might be able to watch. That's Last Week in TV. You can find it on spoilertv.com every Monday. You can also find it on my blog, which is dawn1@blogspot.com. That's DAHNE1 at blogspot.com. Also, you can find me on Twitter. We're getting ready to start the fall season again, so I will be live tweeting usually at least 3 or 4 times a week on different shows. One of the shows that I'm going to try to start live tweeting is How to Get Away with Murder, because I'm doing the best scene poll for that for Spoiler TV. So if you'd like to join the live tweet, I'm at Dawn1 for that as well, DAHNE1. And also, you can always catch me on my blogs for different articles that are going to be posted. I'm looking to do a major article about the Scott Styles bromance of Teen Wolf and how we need it back. And that should come probably in December or in January before the 5B starts.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Beacon Hills Pod. We are on Facebook. Also, welcome to Beacon Hills podcast. If there's another one by chance, always just look for the Southgate Media Group logo. Speaking of Southgate Media Group, please feel free to go to southgatemediagroup.com to check out all our 80 plus podcasts, as well as information on hosts and weekly blogs. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. On Tumblr, it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com, as well as my blog, littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. So happy the fall season is coming back, because I actually only watched like Teen Wolf, Pretty Little Liar, and Beauty and the Beast this summer.
Yeah, I cut back a lot too. I only really watched Teen Wolf on a regular basis, and Stitchers and Marathon.
Actually, wasn't any good.
I liked it. It had a rough start, but it
There's a ton of TNT stuff that I need to catch up on that I heard good stuff about. Still got time before Flash starts, so I'm happy about that. All right, let's take them out of here, Dawn.
All right. And thank you so much for listening to Welcome to Beacon Hills. Again, if you have any opinions you want to share with us, don't forget to give us some feedback and check out southgatemediagroup.com. And until next week, remember, it's always better to tell the truth, dude, in Beacon Hills and everywhere else.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.